Today I want to take a look at how to download all of the user profile service values to a flat CSV file. In SharePoint Online, if we go to the Admin Center, we have the UPS section here on the top right under More Features. And going into that a little bit further, we can see the user profile service hosted in the cloud with the number of profiles and the number of properties. If we open up the list of properties, here you can see all the different fields and data type. And so this kind of gives you a schema of what information is available. Going into the list of user profiles themselves, it's kind of interesting. This is a single user tenant, but it's actually showing 8 different accounts. That one right there is the one we're going to focus on. The others seem to be kind of system accounts and background services. On-prem, we have a lot of different features and control here. When we're hosted cloud with SharePoint Online, it's a little bit more limited, but we can still get in here, view the data, make custom properties, change data types, and I wanted a way to download the full UPS to a flat file, maybe as a backup for doing reporting, for finding fields that have blank values, fields with incorrect values. There's a lot of times where downloading this full data set might be useful to analyze. So here we have a PowerShell script. The first thing I want to mention is you need to download the SharePoint Online SDK. So over here we have the user profile interface online. To connect to that programmatically, we're going to need access to the SDK. So here's the download screen for the SharePoint Online SDK. What you'll notice here when clicking the download link is that there's multiple files involved. We have 4 of them actually. I kind of lean towards the higher build number, so the 6906, and looking at a 64-bit host. So that was the download that I chose right here, the 64-bit with the latest build number. Once we run that, it puts a couple of assemblies on the local file system. So we come over here, and if we navigate into our file system, what we'll see are a whole bunch of DLLs. The key ones we're going to be looking at are SharePoint Client Runtime, and SharePoint Client User Profiles. So now that we have those loaded in our local folder, by the way, this is the same thing a server OS would have with the common files, Microsoft Shared 16. So we're kind of replicating that server experience on our local PC when we download this SDK. So with the SDK added, we can look at our PowerShell code. We have a couple of key lines here where we're adding the client, the runtime, and the user profiles. Those are important just to make sure that everything's available in the background. So we'll go ahead and get those loaded up. And I put a few notes in the PS1 about where to download the file and even the file name that we're looking for here on line 3. So once those are loaded, we can come down and examine the rest of the script. Here's a convert function that converts a key value pair, a dictionary of key value pairs. It converts that to more of a PowerShell object. We'll need that for formatting. Here we want to declare which tenant we're connecting to. Go ahead and execute our connect command. Yep, and that's going to prompt for login. So we'll provide it with a username, and we'll also provide it with a password. There we go. And the next line, I'm highlighting these and pressing F8 to kind of run them sequentially, one at a time. And that lets us debug, but kind of watch the process and explore more. You can even highlight half of a line. So if I want to echo just the value for the context variable, highlight it, press F8. I can see I have a context down here. It's showing the URL. And so this gives me some confidence that the login was successful because we have a context object. Next, we can go ahead and enumerate the users with a load query. And on that one, it should now populate the $users object. And highlighting just the word $users on 35, I can press F8 to see all the values coming back here. And it's fascinating because it kind of echoes back all the users that are on the tenant, including some service accounts for things like caching and crawling, which is pretty cool. Next, we're going to instantiate a people manager object. This is probably the most important line of the script because it actually goes into the UPS with the context and makes a connection. If that runs without error, then we know that we successfully opened UPS. Here we'll go ahead and declare a couple of variables for our looping. We'll highlight our for each loop and let it collect the data and enumerate the user accounts that it finds. And finally, we're going to save that collection to a CSV and echo back the word done. And checking out the folder that we're in, we now have a couple of different files, the CSV and the PS1. If we want to go ahead and view the CSV, we can do that. Here we have it opened in MS Excel, and we can view all the GUID numbers, all the values, the preferred name, personal site URL, and it's a pretty wide schema because I want to say there's about 100 fields. So as you scroll to the right, you can see the columns getting pretty lengthy here all the way up to DC. But that's the demo of how we can save the user profile service as a flat CSV file. And you can even open it here with VS Code and examine the values a little bit more. That might be helpful just because some of these are pretty wide for formatting in Excel, and this may let you see the raw values a little bit more clearly. That's our demo, and thanks for watching.